Time to fly, time to fly. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand up.
Hello friends, and welcome again to another Street Fighter Duel video.
Alright legends, welcome back to another Street Fighter Duel on SEA, and this time we are on Coco Jackson account again. We're gonna review some stuff and talk about stuff. Now, the event for Luke is coming tomorrow. Tomorrow, Monday, will be the day with the reset. We're gonna have him and we're gonna check out all of his kit. Now, for SEA, there's something different. You don't have the Starlight or the Chaotic Starlight. Instead, you have 20 tickets here for summoning for Luke, which is, I think it's not that good because the Chaotic Starlight is a character you're gonna get rewarded. Maybe because the game didn't progress and you don't have a lot of time since release of the game. I think it's the 3rd or 4th month. I don't remember. Maybe it's the 2nd month and a half of it. But we still don't have the Chaotic Starlight here, which is okay. You're gonna get a lot of summons, and in the future they will introduce the Starlight summon for you. Now this character, we're gonna get all of his kit tomorrow, and we're gonna read it all together, and we're gonna discover what he does and how we can use him or utilize him. Maybe he will be a great unit for your account. Maybe because of the delay of his Conde Vega and the other units, they will give you that later. Maybe he will be helpful. Now, of course, it might be different than Global. We're gonna review him in any way. We're gonna review him as a character, and if there's any changes on Global on the character, I will make another video separated and talk about the differences and how you can utilize him and use him. This is what I want to talk first of all about this. Now, again, another thing that I did was I went on Coco account and I did defeat the chapter 39, and now we're at chapter 40. And on the map, it doesn't show you chapter 41 anywhere. I don't know if you can if we defeated chapter 40, we're gonna unlock chapter 41. If anybody on SEA did that, just let us know, or it's still not updated because it happened on Global. I don't remember. They said they added more chapters, but here they didn't say anything about adding chapters. I think the end one is here. It's at 4040. It needs 5 teams. At chapter 23, or something here, 24, you have 5 teams, and when I get to 5 teams, I will show you the 5 teams that I'll be using to defeat that. Now, of course, he's a pay-to-win player, but that doesn't mean that free-to-play cannot do that. Now, you can't do that as for your power, because your power is depending on your dojo or your limited break. So he's a whale, and he's at almost 400 levels. You need 400 to 415 levels at least to complete this. Now you can do it at level 400, but the difference between you and them, you can't go and defeat them. You can't actually do an attack if there's big power difference between the account and you. So if you're free to play, you're almost at 50 million power right now if you're super lucky and if you saved and min-maxed. So 50 million power will not allow you to go to chapter 40 and defeat the characters. There is no free-to-play player that reached chapter 40 so far. So don't be scared of it, or don't be annoyed by it. It will happen in the future. Now, the teams that I've been using, I will show you here because I can go and show you. The first team and the most loveliest team that I love for my heart, and I always use Fast Chant on Jailbreak Cody. You can use it on anybody else, but because he have the most speed on the main lineup, of course, Fire Ada or Fei Long will enhance with his +5 the fire damage that the enemy gets from burn or flame, which is Dalsim will do that. Now, Dalsim is not a +30, he's a +23. +30 will allow him to deal even more burn and more damage, and 6 out of 6 is a must on him. But here, as we see, we don't have it, so the penance stacks will not give him the most damage right now. And still, with this lineup, I'm dealing a lot of damage. This is how Dalsim is important for you as progress. If you're free to play, this is one of the great free to play lineups, which I defeated many of them. Now, one of the EX moves that you need, and don't use it on this lineup only, use it on a different lineup that you don't have stunners, because it will give you the upper hand for that. Or you can use Street Poison with her C2. Her C2 on different lineups will give you the charm, and if you charm the enemies, you can stop their combo or let their enemies hit their own units. Now, the second lineup that I'm using, I will show this lineup later. Second lineup is Bison with Rose. You can replace Rose with anybody that you like. Yes, you can replace her with anybody. You can use her with Zangief. You can use him. You can use anybody that you want. Now, I'm using Zangief here. You don't need to use Zangief. You need to use somebody of the same faction, maybe. Poison would be perfect for Viper. Why Poison is amazing for Viper? Because her +5, and her +5 is every time that inflict shock, she will give you the, she will do the crescent wave. Is it the crescent wave? Fire a crescent wave. And the crescent wave may have silence. You have 15% chance to silence your enemies. It means you can go and interrupt their combos. This is the perfect setup for Viper, is using Poison as an assist on her. Or you can use Poison on a different lineup. I'll be talking about that again on a different lineup. Another lineup which I'm using and constantly, I love this lineup. If you have one copy of Gormagalakan, or if you have one copy of Ivoryu, you can use them. If you have Nero, you can use him as a tank. If you have any type of tank that can survive a little bit, maybe T-Hawk, he can tank a little bit. Maybe Mr. Hugo, if you have him built, he can tank a little bit. Or even Dudley, if you max him, he can dodge. And when he dodges, he does and counter-attack and hits the enemy hard. But for this lineup, I'm using this setup right now because I have Gormagalakan here maxed and I have Ivoryu maxed, even if they're not maxed. Again, if they're not maxed, you can use them just for the sheer fact of the buffs that they give you. You start with Fashion Blanca. Why is this lineup working this way? And for the love of God, if you want to use this lineup, you want to get her to +30. Chun-Li needs +30, needs the 6 out of 6. She will be a battery for your lineup with her C3. So you start with Fashion Blanca. He hits everybody. They go back to the end of the wall. And then whenever anybody want to start, not Street Poison. If Street Poison, she will go back. But if anybody will jump in the front, and when they jump in the front, you can use the C1 of Honda, hit them, he goes back, you stun them, you interrupt their combo, use the C2 of Fashion Blanca, go back and forth, and then the C3 of Chun-Li, and she will accumulate combo meter. As you see, I'm using Gen here. You can use whoever you want. I'm using Gen because he's available. If you want to use anybody else, you can use anybody else. I would highly recommend using something like this and using somebody like, Yan and Yang. Why Yang? Yang, if every time you crit, and she's a crit user, crit buffer, crit multiplier unit. Every time she crits, every 12 seconds, he'll drop and give you 80 combo meter. And on top of the combo meter that she gives you. And he's a trigger unit, so every time he triggers, every 12 seconds, he'll drop, deal some damage, and give you combo meter as well. So your lineup will be back to back doing the same rotation. Start with Fashion Blanca, Honda, Fashion Blanca, then Chun-Li, back and back, and Gormagalakan or Ivoryu will deal their damages, and this will be good. Another lineup that I want to talk about, and let's remove these. And it's the lineup that I use most of the time when I get in a way that I need to stun or keep silencing the enemies. I use her. Sometimes I use Mad Ryu on the same lineup as well because of his C2 or something like that. Let's use him. And I use Elena. Is Elena available? I have her on a different lineup, but this is one of the lineups that you can use her on. Where is she? Where is she? Let's remove everybody so I can show you the lineups that I can use. Except this lineup, I'm gonna keep it that way. Okay, except you. I need you. Come here. No, we didn't remove him. You can leave. You can leave. You don't need Elena on this lineup. You can use Street Poison if you want to. And here we go, Zangief. So this lineup, I use it this way. And I use Elena. Now you can use any assist that you want. The main premise of this lineup is that you use the super for her when they start their attack, especially if Guy is the one attacking, because she's a direct counter for Guy. Guy will jump to hit her, she will do her super. When she does her super, she dashes back, so he can't hit her anymore. And she silences the enemies. It means they can't continue with their combo meter. And then, or with their rotation. You do C1 with her, she can heal and buff. You can do C2 with him because he heals himself when he does it. It's C2 and he will allow you to survive with your tank. Or you can use the C2 of him. If there's any shields, he will dispel the shields and he deals massive damage. If he kills with his C2, he might go back and do his Hadouken and kill somebody else. And you can use her C3 because with her C3, if you build her up, if you have her at +20 or if you have her at +10, she will do a crescent wave again and might silence your enemies. Her damages are okay. She's a great unit. She's the best carry for your Thunder faction. She's the best carry for the Thunder faction. Keep that in mind for the tower. Early game, it was Mad Ryu. Then you progress and use her. She's perfect for that lineup. Another lineup, which is the Guile team with Beast Zangief. Now you can use the same lineup. Of course, you can use him as a tank, you can use her as a healer, or you can use her as a buffer so he can deal massive damage. Now here, what you want is to survive, so you need heals. You need heals, or maybe Virgil EX. If you have the Virgil EX, which we have here, here it is, the Virgil EX. If you want to use the Virgil EX on this lineup to save your lineup, so you start with him, C1 from her, C2 from him, he gathers them all, and you use the C3. Now, if you don't have Zangief, or you don't want be Zangief because he doesn't interrupt or stun, or you don't want to play her, you want to play a full lineup, you can play somebody like Nero. What Nero does with his C1, he can jump and interrupt everybody so they can stop their combo meter. You still gather them with the C2, so you start with him, C1, C2 from B Zangief, and then C3 from Guile, and you will kill everybody. These are the basic main lineup that I want to talk about. And this lineup is the lineup that I like. I actually like this lineup, not using Bison. If you're a whale and you built these units, especially Sagat, the whale unit that I will be talking about, Mad Ryu is not a whale unit, and Goki or Akuma is not a whale territory unit. If you're free to play, you can build only one of them. Good? If we're on good terms with that, if you understand that everything that you need to understand is you can build one of them, at least to triple S. Now, if you were lucky and you got one copy of Evil Ryu, you can play him on the team. That's perfect. The whaling part comes with building Sagat and Athlete Chun-Li because they are Divination characters and they are the hardest characters to get in the game. No, not the special summon tickets characters are the hardest. The hardest are the Divination characters. You'll be asking why? Because we get more events and more special summon tickets than Divination tickets in general in the game. So keep that in mind. So Divination tickets worth a lot, especially when you have the half-year anniversary. Save for the half-year anniversary because when it comes, you'll have a 50% discount on summoning the new unit that will be featured in the Divination. Keep that in mind. So the rotation here, I start with Akuma, Athlete Chun-Li, Akuma, Sagat, and Evil Ryu does Evil Ryu things. And he can stun and interrupt, he can silence, and he can remove combo meter. Absolutely fantastic lineup, plus he buffs everybody. Even at one copy, he buffs everybody. It's his passive. If we're gonna go and read his passive, let's go and check it. Here we go. He will deploy 15%, deal 15% more damage, bonus until the end of the battle. That's absolutely fantastic. So that's the lineups that I wanted to talk about. I showed you the Guile, I showed you another poison, a lineup which you can use and it will be good. If you have Nero, you can use him. If you don't have, you need somebody as tanky as possible to tank for you. And I will highly recommend Zangief because he's a good unit to tank. And that was it all. Let's go and check how I defeated the chapter really quick on my final boss run. So here we go. These are the lineups, of course, for teams. And here we go. So we start this lineup with Fashion Blanca. I wait until 82 minutes or 82 seconds to 81 seconds. I start and then use Honda to interrupt. And if we interrupt successfully, it means they can't do anything. And as you see here, we couldn't interrupt successfully, but we still managed to survive. And we interrupt the next one from Cammy. And Cammy died here. So we continued. And now I healed because I know that I will take damage from Guile. Super, because his sabers are amazing. And we did that and I continued. Now I have Fashion Blanca. I have a stun from Honda. And that's what happened. We just killed him because of the damage that we did. And Honda survived and Blanca again. The next lineup, a Viper lineup with a Bison. Now, of course, you can use anybody other than Elena. You don't need the heals, but because it's a lineup that will keep focusing on our Bison and he will keep exploding. It's a lineup that have Ryu. I hate Ryu, so whenever I play against Ryu, I use Bison because every time he explodes Bison or deals damage, Ryu will do a Hadouken and will hit Bison and Bison will explode again. As you see here, he keeps exploding. There's no time for us to do anything except explode. And I use Viper to finish everybody off. And then I kill Ryu by the end in the backline. Again, the healing from Elena is good, but actually Rose is doing all the heals, the time lapse. She gets you back to your HP if it drops below 80%. And this is my favorite lineup. I like it so much. I love to play it. It's the Dawson lineup. I love Jailbreak Cody. As you see, I'm spamming Jailbreak Cody at the start because I want to start the lineup, pick up Guile, and deal the damages. I use the Summer Yang C1 because it gives shields as well. So I wait for Guile and I try to interrupt him. It didn't work, but I got the shields from Yang and I used the C2 from Abel, and Abel interrupted the next unit with his C2 because Abel can stun with his C2. So keep that in mind, it might help you if you have problems with that. And we used Summer Yang again to heal, and then Abel with his C2 gives himself shields so he will not get damage. And you see why Guile hit the air there, because Yang was beside him and Yang got back, and now we interrupted Guile again, so we interrupted the combo. So they can whiff the attack. It depends how you use your attacks, and by the end we cook them slowly. So we keep cooking Guile. It's absolutely fantastic. I love just to see units burn. It's just satisfying. Look at his bar up there, Guile. So he will start, and I just go and use my shields. I start with Jailbreak Cody because I can stun him, so he can't do auto attacks after that. And he's burning slowly, and bam, he's dead. And now we have Charming Dudley. Charming Dudley is easy. You just damage him and everything will be okay. As you see, the burns are unbelievable, and he will kill our Summer Yang, by the way. He one-shots him. This is what he does. But we have the lineup and a little bit with an EX, which doesn't matter. The EX will do a little bit of damage, so it could help. The last lineup, the lineup of Sagat, of course. Akuma is, or Goki is the main damage dealer here with Athlete Chun-Li. So super from him, C1 from Athlete Chun-Li. And pay attention to not go back-to-back, very back-to-back with Athlete Chun-Li, because if you missed his C2, or because her C1 is so fast, of course I equip anything that I could equip with for Sagat, because I need the extra levels, I need the extra stats, I don't want to have it hard. And it was super easy actually. So the first try we went and immediately created it. So we start with Akuma, Athlete, and before I start, yeah, I went in, I lost, I remembered that I have the Dante EX move. Why not use it? Because it might stun. It will swap the units and it will stun them. So it's perfect actually to use. Immediately, they are faster than me. I didn't care because I want to use this to stun them. It didn't stun, but for good reason. Sagat survives a lot, so he did survive and we kept ourselves alive. I started with Akuma. I waited a little bit so nobody can attack me. I used the Athlete Chun-Li C1, then Akuma C2. He will hit the backline, and C3 from Sagat, which it will stun or it will proc twice, which is perfect. Of course, we got more damage. And Akuma survived. That was a good run actually. Akuma doesn't survive that much, but because he heals with his super when you can. And here we go, Sagat spamming his C3, stuns and damage. Absolutely fantastic. Every time he does it, he deals more damage. And this is how we finished it. Now, sadly, if we want to go and check the stats for the replays, we can't see all the teams. I don't know what's wrong. It's still an error encoding. Here, Dawson did everything, and everybody shared the damages. Even Athlete Chun-Li, she did 20 million, which is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, that was basically it for the lineups. I hope this helped you. I hope if you had any problems, because if you want to go and check the replays, sometimes you can't check the replays. It tells you like it doesn't exist because some time has passed and an update came, so you can't see what happened. So I'm trying as much as possible when I progress on stages that I feel they're super hard, I might put replays. And yeah, that was it for the video.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, we thank you for watching. And as always, stay frosty. Peace.
Time to fly.